Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're going to check out a Temur Reclamation deck. This deck is a fun way to play Wilderness Reclamation and try to combo into giant expansion explosions. It can have some very exciting nail-biting games with decent draws. The deck it focuses on the combo between Wilderness Reclamation, Expansion, Explosion. It makes a ton of mana at instant speed and then burns the opponent out. With a Niv Mizzet on the battlefield, your Expansion, Explosion damage is doubled, and I've done over 30 points of damage in one turn with Wilderness Reclamation, Expansion, Explosion, and Niv Mizzet teaming up. The rest of the deck is designed to draw cards and put that together, or hold the opponent off and keep from dying. So Chemist's Insight, Search for Azcanta, Growth Spiral, those get you cards. Blink of an Eye, Sinister Sabotage, Lightning Strike, Shock keep you alive. I have 26 lands because you never want to miss a land drop 4 with this deck, and you always need a land to put into the battlefield with the Growth Spiral. So that's where the mana count comes from. The deck has a terrible matchup against aggro, and I mean terrible. You can't play this in an aggro metagame. You can't make the matchup good. You will have excellent game against Esper control. You will have very good game against mid-range decks. But because there isn't really a good best of one version of this deck that can beat aggro, and don't tell me Fiery Cannonade. Do not tell me Fiery Cannonade. Don't do it, chat. Don't do it in comments. Do not tell me about Fiery Cannonade. This is not good enough. It doesn't even kill a Storm Tamer or a Fanatical Firebrand. It's way too slow. It doesn't kill anything with 3 toughness. It doesn't kill the indestructible stuff out of the white deck. This is not a good enough card. It cannot turn that matchup. This deck does not have good aggro matchups. It has absolutely horrible aggro matchups. And aggro is the ladder meta, over 80% of it. Therefore, I would not ladder with the deck. Now, in best of 3, you can build up a sideboard, and you can run things like Fiery Cannonade in the sideboard and try to have a better aggro matchup. I've also seen things like Raptor Hatchling and just all kinds of weird stuff to try to keep from being run over so that you can get your combo to go off. But I'd stay far away from ladder. I tried recording some games before this just to test my theory about this. I dropped 4 games in less than 5 minutes. That's how bad this deck is against aggro. So if you're going to ladder it, at your own risk. But what this deck features are excellent matchups against mid-range and excellent matchups against control, which I know some of you hate control decks. So maybe if all you really want to do is see control mages cry and squirm, this is the deck for you. They simply have a terrible time dealing with Niv, plus Expansion, Explosion, Search for Azcanta, Chemist's Insight drawing more cards than they draw, Wilderness Reclamation, all the instant speed stuff. It's a nightmare for them. So, if control is what you want to hose, this is your deck, and hopefully we'll go play against some. So, I'll be in traditional play today. I don't really want to do a constructed event or a ranked ladder event because it's just all aggro, and I promise you, if you want to watch me get wrecked by aggro, then sorry. I think I do enough of it on the channel as it is, get wrecked by aggro. So let's go play some games, and let's see if we can combo off a few times for a good old laugh, see how big of an explosion we can make. We have 26 lands. Will we draw more of them? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. A Naked Growth Spiral is so sad. But ideally our draw is Wilderness Reclamation, land. That is like the perfect top 3 cards of the deck. Boo. Okay. Let's see what the opponent does before Growth Spiraling on their turn. And a Swiftblade Vindicator comes out to play. Okay. That'll be a quick beating. Frog in my throat. Don't know what's up with that. Hey, we hit the land. Do we hit another? No. No, we do not. Alright. Pass it on over. I'll just sit here with my 3 lands then. So I have Sinister Sabotage open. I also have the Lightning Strikes. And here's a Taj. I think that the best play is to counter Tajik and take 2. We also can try to find, yep, more land this way. Bam bam goes Vindicator. We'll play that Breeding Pool tapped and protect our life total. plan is to lightning strike this critter, and we'll see what the opponent's got for us. Ooh, for realsies? So I could Expansion Explosion the Heroic Reinforcements and make a pair of 2/2s myself to block my opponent's 2/2s. I could also lightning strike the Vindicator and take this damage. I actually love this play, and I just want to show it really quick that it is an effective way to blunt our Heroic Reinforcements. So if the opponent only wants to attack with this, we can block with both. The opponent will kill the first one and then trade with the second one. So we got rid of the Vindicator with one card, and we bricked a Heroic Reinforcement turn. Feels good. And does our opponent have another Heroic Reinforcements? I think so, because otherwise I don't know why they'd cast that first one in that spot without that much damage. But instead they're going with the Legionnaire. And another Vindicator. So lots of critters coming at us. Let's use Blink of an Eye with the Kicker because I want to draw the card on the Legionnaire. We could use it on the token and the token wouldn't come back, but our object isn't to kill everything. It's to stall long enough to play Niv. Land? We did it. So let's take 2, play Niv, and hope our opponent does not have a Conclave Tribunal. Dragon in the house. What are we doing? Nothing. Alright. And the pain begins for our opponent. No Wilderness Reclamation either. Well, I can definitely kill things. I have the means to kill all of the things. Should I attack? Our opponent could have a Seal Away. I think that's a good enough reason not to. We can't predict to know that just because they're a most aggressive deck in this meta doesn't mean they don't have Seal Away. Not in the arena. In a tournament, I would assume they don't, because Seal Away doesn't remove blockers. But here, I think I should hold it back. I guess if they do have it, I could always play another Niv. But I really don't want to go there. I think I hold on this for at least a turn. At least a turn, I think we can sit back and chill and just pick things off if they dare to attack us. Wow. Multicolored. So I would lightning strike these anyway, so this is fine. I want to see if we can get our opponent to move in. Okay, doesn't look like it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is what I have, and the opponent's at 20. I think I should kill the creatures then. Resolve trigger. Point here. And the opponent has seen enough of that. Our hand has Wilderness Reclamation and some early stuff. 4 lands isn't out of sorts for this deck, so let's give it a try. So one of the reasons I haven't played this deck for the YouTube channel is because of it's very hard to get good quality of games. If I play it on ladder, I get absolutely smashed by everything but Esper. If I play the deck on, if I play the deck in traditional play, people concede pretty much as soon as I start thinking. But it is a very hard deck to play fast. It does involve a lot of math, and there's a good amount of thinking to put into it. So because of that, it's just hard to find a place to play the deck. It's hard to find a good home. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to pull some games today that are fun. For example, in testing this deck for the Invitational, potentially, with MTG Nerd Girl, we had some amazing games. Some games where, like, the stack was full of triggers and I would, like, create lethal in response to her lethal using the red deck, and there was just a lot of fun. So our opponent goes for the Lightning Strike. We can respond with an expansion on the Lightning Strike, and then throw the Lightning Strike back at the Runaway Steamkin, like this. Which is one of the things that you want to do against red, and something that red wants to avoid in the matchup, as we discovered, which is playing their spells into 2 open mana if they have creatures that they don't want to see die. So let's play the Wilderness Reclamation, get the mana cooking. We'll be able to Growth Spiral on our opponent's turn, putting out Stomping Ground and setting up a big explosion. Experimental Frenzy, It's a scary card, but it's kind of like them taking a turn to do that can be a window that we need. And hopefully I'll be able to show you what I mean. As we're not a control deck, right? We are a combo deck. Let's enter tapped here. I don't want to pay 2 life for the next growth spiral. And there's a Chemist's Insight. So stop on the end step whenever you have a Reclamation going. Let's get this onto the battlefield. I really want to draw another land first, but I don't think that's going to be a very high reward play. So we'll go to end step, trigger on the stack. Let's create some mana. I don't think I want to expansion yet. I think I would prefer to Chemist's Insight first and try to get the lands in my hand and then growth spiral them onto the battlefield. Okay. What is our graveyard count? 4? This would be 5. It would be nice to hit another... I mean, we could Insight instead, which... Is that a higher reward? I don't think so. I think hitting another land is like double my explosion power next turn. So we'll do this instead. Like I said, this deck does take thinking. Oh, that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. That's our boy. That's our big buddy. If we don't die this turn, we'll be doing all right. Yeah, land. Ah, that's not land. Okay, we're all right. We're all right. Another Reclamation. I don't think I want that here. Graveyard. I mean, it's a good card, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 would be the explosion, but that's not enough. And we'd probably just die on the crackback, whereas playing this Niv does some crazy stuff. Look alive, my friends. Alright, so I should make the Wizard's Lightning cost more, but I guess I can do it with this trigger on the stack. But what I really need to try to do is kill the opponent if I can. Let's wait and see what our opponent does. Let's wait and see what goes on here. There's a chance I can kill them if they brick out on Frenzy, or yeah, if they come up short here. The Lightning Strike may be important for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 16. And that's lethal? Okay, I don't need the Lightning Strike to do lethal. Alright, so if I don't need the Lightning Strike for the lethal, let's go like this. Alright, opponent goes face with the Firebrand. Draw, shoot. If we pull it off against red, I have to say we got pretty lucky. Pretty lucky. Not a good matchup, typically. But let's see. Here goes Light Up the Stage. I'm going to kill the Viashino Pyromancer in case our opponent reveals a Wizard's Lightning. Make it cost more. And there's a shock. Let's see if the opponent can finish this job. Shock my face. I'll ping you for that. My turn. Chemist's Insight. Bang, bang. Graveyard. Transform. Mark the end step. Target the face. I'm going to try to play this quickly so my opponent doesn't leave. Attack with the Niv. Move to end step, trigger on the stack, make the mana. It's very hard to do this part quickly. So what do we need? We need 5. 5 is lethal, so we'll just do 5. And we'll hit resolve all if we can. Actually, I only need 4 because I always forget about that first trigger from the very first time you cast the explosion being a non-creature spell or an instant sorcery that triggers Niv. Got him. Holy smokes. See, those games are very exciting, and they don't turn out for the better as often as you'd hope. Well, we have an early shock in Azcanta Growth Spiral. We'll give it a try. It can be a good hand against control, it can be a good hand... Well, it's an okay hand against aggro. Maybe good is too strong of a word. We want to go turn 1 Stomping Ground, turn 2 Sulphur Falls, Growth Spiral into the Steam Vents. Does it Esper? Maybe it does Esper. We should get this onto the battlefield first, before it can be taken by Thought Erasure. Make them find exactly Mortify, which they do have. It happens. There you go. And there goes Niv, I'm guessing. Ooh, takes the Growth Spiral. Gutsy. I only have 1 land to even put in play off of it. I don't know. I don't know if Growth Spiral is what I would take, but not my choice. Doesn't ask. Not its business. It's a bad Gollum impression from Lord of the Rings. Had to explain it there. Makes it much less cool. Now, if the opponent Thought Erasures me again, I can copy the Thought Erasure, which, haha. But there's the Mortify. Dope. Both sides fought hard. We'll keep passing it over, see what happens next. This is where we really want to draw those Chemist's Insights, though. Oh, maybe I have the wrong read on my opponent. Maybe this is a mid-range deck. Seraph of the Scales, huh? Well, that was an odd, badly timed Sinister Sabotage draw. Well, I'm glad I've been playing my Shocklands tapped then, because it turns out life total matters more than I thought it would. Ow. Thief of Sanity. I can shock that. The opponent knows that, though. I wonder if I should sabotage it instead. Nah. Let's get the shock out of the way. I think our opponent must have another one or something else that they want to protect if they're playing that knowing I have a shock. They also know I have a Niv. Sad draw. Sad draw. Getting beaten down by the Seraph. Feels bad, dude. No lightning strike in sight. Shocking and expanding on it to kill the Seraph sounds so bad, too. Down to 12. Shall I? How about no? It's an interesting inclusion in the deck. Not one you see all the time in an Esper mid-range shell. So maybe this is like Esper Angels? I guess I'll keep you. We're gonna play Niv, and we're gonna hope for the best. If our opponent has a Mortify, at least we get a 2-for-1. If they don't, who knows what could happen. If they have an Eldest Reborn, I will cry into my pillow. We might see like a Vigilance Death Touch thing from the Seraph. Or no Vigilance. Why would we Vigilance? We will never block. There's a Thief of Sanity, returning to the battlefield. See if we can make our opponent pay. They didn't pick Niv early on. They picked a Growth Spiral instead. Was that right? Was it wrong? Let's pick off the Seraph of the Scales, because what we can do is... Let's see. This is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We can do this for 2. Take out this. Draw 2. Take out some of this, and take out some tokens. There is some risk of a counterspell, but I don't know. Playing around that from a mid-range deck from what we've seen doesn't quite make sense to me. Pick on you. Two cards, so we go you and you now. I probably had a way to stack that so that it also killed off the tokens, but I don't know if that matters, to be honest. I don't know if the tokens matter. And I don't need to attack. they still might play a seal away. You never know. It's the arena. Anything goes in the arena. Weird card choices all the time. Mortify? Alright. Well, that's too bad. Let's kill one token. And before we're dead, let's target face, get a response from the Niv, and kill the token. Since this deals 1, the 2 may as well go to the face. And we found a Chemist's Insight, so it's possible that we can rebuild. It's also good against Thought Erasure. The opponent took the Chemist's Insight immediately. I'll take this. Take that, Mister. Take your Chemist's Insight. Ha! How you like me now? Wow. Do you like land? I got land. Got some epic land stuff going on here, but it's okay. As soon as we draw another Expansion Explosion or Niv, life should be rather beautiful. But in the meantime, I'll be over here amassing some real estate. Apparently our opponent's on the same plan. Should have played the island there. My bad. There it is. Well, let's go for it. We can leave up a Sabotage, so it's not that big of a deal. Trigger on the stack. Add all this mana. I know this is very annoying. I'm very, very sorry about that. I would change exactly this about the arena if I could, and that is adding mana to mana pool using dual lands with Wilderness Reclamation. It is beyond infuriating to watch. So what have we got here? 19 minus 4 is 15 is lethal. Always make sure you're not decking yourself. Comes up more than you think. And if you are about to deck yourself with your explosion, make sure you point it at the opponent instead of yourself. Two Wilderness Reclamations, a Search for Azcanta, and a Shock. We have to find a green source, and we have to find something to do with it. Maybe Azcanta can help with both. I'm going to give it a try. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mulligan this hand, to be totally real with you. And that could be a Thought Erasure. We got the Jace Avatar. We got the turn 1 Godless Shrine. Not a Thought Erasure yet. Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Very much not a Thought Erasure. Maybe we drew a green source. I think we'll go for the Search for Azcanta. Since I don't play creatures, this doesn't scare me that much, not to the point where I feel a need to shock it on turn 2. Zelly. Zelly is jelly. And Gutterbones. Our opponents set up their priest on turn 3, which is good, but they don't have a target, so it's okay. Do I keep a Sinister Sabotage? Our opponent can have a total of 6 mana next turn if they sacrifice their creatures. I think I keep you. I don't know what our opponent can get up to, but they can get up to a lot. Midnight Reaper. Yeah? How about no? Let's not let our opponent draw their deck. I don't know what cards they have in their deck that's good against our deck, but I know I don't want to give them that much of it. We can bin that Wilderness Reclamation. We've already got 2. It does give away to our opponent the information of how many that we must have one already, but that's okay. Unless they have a drill bit here, that's like the only thing that could go wrong. So the opponent does not attack with the priest. They're holding up the activation, probably fearing a board wipe of some kind. Let's pay 2 life, play Wilderness Reclamation, and then we can Chemist's Insight on our opponent's turn. Opponent might be thinking about sacrificing the creatures to the priest here. So this matchup, even if they come out kind of aggressive, they don't have the burn or the explosiveness of the white deck. So it feels like it should be a good matchup for a combo deck like this, as typically they're kind of all about controlling the board with Priests of the Forgotten Gods and getting some value with Midnight Reaper, and that means that their clock is slower. When their clock is slower, I get to do my nonsense. At least that's what I think. That's why my version of this deck ran Drill Bit, to have something to interact with this kind of deck. And even then, it wasn't really enough. Same with Mortify. You could add those cards, but it was rarely enough. So, what are we looking at? 4 cards in the graveyard. We could take the Lightning Strike and pretty much wipe out everything that's doing us damage. The more time we buy, the better off we are. So I don't hate the Lightning Strike here. It's perfectly fine. Let's put a stop on our end step. Let's play our Stomping Ground tapped. Here comes Wilderness Reclamation number 2. And on the end step, we'll do 1 untap, add the mana, then do the other untap. So resolve 1. Don't hit resolve all there, kids. Resolve the other. Have all the mana available. We'll start with a shock on the priest. See if the opponent wants to sacrifice this stuff or not. If the answer is not, we'll just bring back Chemister's Insight or fire off the Expansion Explosion for 5, which is pretty... it's a lot. But it could be a lot more next turn. What I'm actually thinking about is just going strike, strike, face, and then untap, and then explode for, I think that's 10? 2, 3, 4, 5. 11? Okay. Alright, the opponent is going for it here with the priest trigger. I think I'll just cast the Insight and discard a Lightning Strike. We'll get to lethal eventually. I'm not that worried about speedy comboing. This is fine. This is fine, everybody. As long as we're not taking the beatdowns, this is fine. And the opponent's passing turn, I'm guessing a handful of removal of some kind. I don't know. We're on 6, so let's graveyard this and flip. And another Lightning Strike is probably game, but again, let's try to play quickly so our opponent doesn't exit the game. And they're going to check out, which I don't blame them for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But we could have also used a Lightning Strike and a Shock. I think we had some of those, but we could have left mana open to draw them anyway to finish the game on that end step. So, like, we could have done, like, Expansion Explosion for 16 and leave 3 mana open and use that 3 mana to cast, like, a Lightning Strike and a Shock or something like that. Okay? I'm probably not even mathing right in my head, but I think you get the idea. Okay, this hand. We have the Growth Spiral. We don't have a Wilderness Reclamation. And we don't have any early interaction, and we're on the draw. So we could get run over. It's some kind of a combo deck. We just keep and hope. Hope and pray. It's a strategy. Sinister Sabotage off the top at least gives us some semblance of counter something. But here comes Azcanta Vanguard. Not something we could have killed anyway. Now we'll pose over here as if we have something to play, but the truth is it's all about that Growth Spiral. I guess we could Expansion Explosion, that thing that makes Saprolings. Satyr Enchanter? Got like an enchantment deck going on? Interesting. Somebody's brewing. Let's go ahead and Growth Spiral up now that our opponent's taken all the game actions they can for their turn. And we're going to need that land off the top. Don't want to miss that 4th land. That's why we run 26, and we did hit it. Now, do I pay 2 life for this? How likely is it that I sabotage something this turn versus use the Insight? I actually think that sabotaging something's incredibly likely. Whatever the opponent's going for, I want to slow the damage roll. So I think that playing this tapped is okay. I think it's okay. Use a Squire's Devotion. That will draw a card. I'll go ahead and counter it. It does add to the clock. And I'll keep another land because getting to Niv is a big part of the plan. Have Niv take over this craziness. Although, with a bunch of enchantments in the deck, I don't know how good slamming Niv is going to be honest. Might not be that good. Might not be good. Might want that Wilderness Reclamation, right? Because if we can play the Reclamation, untap, protect Niv with a counterspell, then we're so much better off. So I think now we'll let this happen and draw 2 and try to find that Reclamation. I'm gonna take a beating for it, though. Down to 6. And draw me some goodies. It'll have to be really good. There's a shock. That stays off lethal. There's the Reclamation. Enters tapped. Let's play the shock now. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I don't need the end step stop. And this one's going to come down to the wire. I'm guessing there must be some sort of a removal-y something. Okay. Alright. This card. So, we have to counter this because... Right? Don't we have to counter this? The explosion can't go face. Everything would have to hit the Shalai. So I think I counter it. If our opponent has a way to deal 1 more damage, we die. But I think that's a risk I take. And another land off the top. What's that create for us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a 4-point explosion. It's a lot of cards that we're drawing. I guess I can keep this. The big danger is that we need to block the Vanguard because we can't just kill it. And if our opponent has a way to move the Niv out of the way and we don't draw Sinister Sabotage, we are wrecked. So the other thing that we could try to do is draw into Blink of an Eye. But yeah, I think we have to somehow get to a Sabotage. Alright, so let's put a blue in our pool. Let's hit Resolve. And we're looking at an Expansion Explosion to leave 3 up. I don't think does it. What if we cast this and Chemister's Insight? No, that doesn't do it. So I'm trying to Chemister's Insight, I think, into a Sinister Sabotage, and that will keep the opponent from removing the Niv and killing me. We might also draw Blink of an Eye. It's a tough call, but I think this is where we go. Well, wait a minute. No, this draws 3. I think this is what we want. So we have to take out the 1/1, of course. But what I'm worried about are the jail spells. Not the Conclave Tribunal, but like, is our opponent running like Luminous Bonds? Some silliness like that. I'll target this to the Vanguard because, you know, indestructible. They have to pay 4 life instead of them taking 2 damage. It just gets me 2 more here. Now, I could go down this road of targeting it over and over and over now that I've seen what I've drawn. See how many times I can get them to activate it. I may as well at least do 1. We're trying to hit like a Blink of an Eye here, so I can get them to pay for it again. And maybe they'll forget they have to? be a cheap way to win. Ooh. Okay. I guess I'll put the land in untapped. We might draw a shock. Oh, shoot. Did that resolve already? I thought that was still on the stack. I thought I was responding to it. My bad. I'm an idiot. Silly CGB. I'll give myself the oops. I thought that was still on the stack. I do have to get better at looking at the stack when I'm playing this deck. That was something I learned. Prodigious growth. Oh my god! No, not like this. That is epic. Alright. Lightning strike it. That is classic. And pew. Yes, I'm sure. I'll take myself down. Thank you very much. Is our opponent like are they going to Azcanta themselves to 0? No, okay. Or Azcanta themselves to 1, I should say. But there you go. Honestly, that's what I like about the deck. Some of the absolutely wacky just trying to stay alive. It's like, I get a shovel, I dig myself a big hole, and I try to claw out of it. And it's very rage-inducing against things like mono blue, where it feels like you have no chance. But against interesting brews and against control decks and things like that, it's just really fun. So I enjoy that part of it. I don't even mind losing to a prodigious growth Azcanta Vanguard. That's pretty glorious. Good for them. So on the footnote, I'll say thank you, of course, for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video, and you will be watching this one while I am at PAX East in Boston. So if you want to see what's going on at PAX, if you want to follow my adventures there, you can go into the channel, into the description of this video, and you'll see a link for my Twitter and a link for my Discord, where I'll be posting updates from the event. So if you're interested in that, check those things out. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. You can also support the channel on Patreon for special perks. Links are in the description. Our sponsors are HauntedFlower.com and FlipsideGaming.com. Haunted Flower sells officially licensed MTG apparel and accessories, and Flipside Gaming sells MTG cards and supplies. You can save 10% on either site with the promo code CGB, and it supports the channel at the same time. See you next time for another day in the arena. For now, it's me, it's CGB, signing out.